Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Naiva Flory, and it is my honor to be a part of the Million Mom movement and to be here with our incredible owners and co-founders of Purium. And so, first, before we get started, I just want to introduce them to our community. But I'm interested, who here is ready to transform your life? Go ahead and drop a one in the comments. Tell us where you're tuning in from, because we'd love to just know where in the world you are and where our community members are. And so thank you so much for joining us. And today we have a really exciting presentation where we'll introduce you to the Purium Lifestyle, a powerful, sustainable approach to living healthier, wealthier, and happier. So in just a few moments, you'll hear from the founders and owners of Purium, Amy Venner and David Sandoval, two passionate leaders who have been embracing the Purium mission for over 20 years and are committed to empowering individuals around the world to take control of their health and their future. Amy and Dave's mission extends far beyond just providing high quality nutrition. They are deeply committed to offering individuals a chance at economic freedom, time freedom, and geographical mobility, values that are more important today than ever before. And this is all by providing a business model that empowers individuals, particularly mothers, to break free from the business model that empowers that the demanding schedules typically associated with traditional jobs. They enable people to take control of their lives and design a future that aligns with their health, values, and passions. And so, before we go any further, I would love to see if one of my council members would like to go ahead and read the pledge for us, and I can go ahead and pull that up. So let me see if one of you would like to raise your hand. I'll pull up, Grace is raising her hand. So Grace, I'll pull up the pledge for you, and you can go ahead and read it for us.
Hey, let me make it a little bit bigger here. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you all. Okay. I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. And I'm committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Grace. Would you like to share what this movement means to you?
Yeah, thank you for asking. One of the things that really stood out to me about just reading the pledge just now is really the impact that what we're doing has on the future generations. I happen to be a mom whose daughter has grown up in the Purium community and with these superfoods and getting educated around all the things that we're talking about. And she shares it with her classmates and she reads labels and she prioritizes certain foods. And for me, that's amazing because I didn't have that as a child. And also just being a part of a community that is on the same page and moving toward a healthier future is very meaningful to me. So thanks for asking.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing the pledge with us today and sharing what this movement means to you. So I'd love to go ahead and introduce and really lay out the foundation for who these incredible leaders are that have been leading this mission for over 2 decades. So Amy Venner is the heart and soul of Purium. She is a dedicated mother of two vibrant teenage girls. Amy knows firsthand the pivotal role that nutrition plays in our children's physical, mental, and emotional development. She understands that nourishing her family with wholesome, clean food is just as essential as any other aspect of motherhood. This personal experience fuels her unwavering commitment to providing every mother with the tools and resources to do the same for their families. Amy's passion and purpose go beyond her own family. Her mission is to inspire, educate, and empower mothers everywhere to take control of the health and well being of their loved ones. She believes that every mother deserves access to high quality organic food that's conveniently delivered right to your doorstep, allowing you to nourish your families without the stress and compromise. In addition to her work with Purium, Amy is the founder of the Million Mom Movement, this initiative that empowers mothers and families to take action of the health of our families and the planet. Through her leadership and advocacy, Amy has helped thousands of women embrace the plant-based lifestyle and create positive change in their communities and become powerful voices for health in this world. And also, she works side by side with Dave Sandoval, who's a visionary founder, product formulator, and co-owner of Purium alongside with her. He is a renowned nutrition expert and has been dedicated to educating people about transformative power of clean organic food for several decades now. He is also the author of the Green Foods Bible and The Toxin That Came to Dinner, two incredible books that if you haven't read, you must read them. And this work has helped countless individuals understand the critical connection between the food we eat and the quality of our lives. Dave founded Purium with the bold belief that raw organic food should be both accessible and affordable for everyone, while also being sustainable and conscious to Mother Earth. His philosophy is simple and profound. The quality of the life you live is directly tied to the quality of the food that you eat. This belief is the foundation of Purium's product offerings and is woven into every aspect of the company's mission. So together, Amy and Dave are leading a movement that's transforming lives, not just through superior nutrition, but by offering a pathway to personal empowerment, financial independence, and a life of fulfillment. Their vision goes beyond wellness, creating an opportunity for people to live on their own terms, whether you're seeking to improve your health, building a thriving business, or find a deeper sense of purpose, Purium provides the tools, the community, and the support to help you achieve a healthier and wealthier, happier future. So really excited to have you all here with us today. And without further ado, Amy, I would love to go ahead and have you come on. And I do have some questions for you, but before I go into the questions, is there anything you'd like to say? Welcome.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And it's so awesome to be here on the Million Mom Movement Zoom on Friday morning. It's been a long time since I have stopped in as a guest here. So I want to say thank you so much to Neva for holding it down all of these Fridays. And thank you so much for this community. I'm sitting here just reading the comments and just looking around at familiar faces and new faces. And it's just really awesome to be here. It's really awesome to see everybody and to feel the spirit of this community that we've created together over all these years.
Absolutely. It's such an honor to get to represent the Million Mom Movement and work alongside you and Dave to share this mission with so many. And so I'd like to know what motivated you to create the Million Mom Movement?
Oh my goodness. I mean, it seems like so many years ago, so much time has passed. I mean, let's just like go back a long time. It was when my kids were really little, and they are basically 16 and 17 now. They'll be 16 and 17 this year. And when I had my first one, and that was in 2008, I was really lost. And it's funny, like, it's weird saying that. I was lost because I started working in a health food store when I was 16 years old. So that's when I first got exposed to nutrition and things of that nature. But I think at 32, when I had my first one, I was still lost. And, when you have a baby for the first time and you just don't you don't know what you don't know, the second one is so much easier. But you don't know what you don't know. And I was seeking answers, and I had been blessed to meet Dave, so many years ago, and learn about whole food nutrition, learn what green drinks can do for my body and my health, and this relationship between like what you're putting in your body and how you look and you act and you feel and you perform. um, I was blessed to know that, but I still like wasn't sure, how do I apply that to what I'm doing for myself and my child. So, for being a breastfeeding mom, what can I do? And so I realized, if I had this much experience in health foods, we already had Purium at the time. I had Dave as like a personal resource. But if I was still feeling this confused, what was everyone else feeling? And so I wanted to just create a community that was a safe place, because sometimes it's hard to even raise your hand and say, I'm confused. And I wanted to create this safe environment where we could come and we could share. And it wouldn't matter where you were on your journey of health. Were you all the way, you'd been doing this 30 years and you were 100% plant-based vegan? Or were you still, just learning about this? Were you still just dabbling in how you could make better choices for yourself? And so I wanted it to be a safe place. I wanted it to be a place where we could come together and share ideas without judgment. So I want to say that, like, I always, back in the day, it was good, better, best decisions. And everybody's good, better, and best decisions are their own personal decisions. So my best decision, because I've been on this journey for 30 years, maybe totally different than your best decision if you are just getting started. But the beautiful thing about the Million Mom Movement is the community, the safe place, and the ability to just look at how far people have come and not judge at all where they may have started or where they are on their journey.
Absolutely. So beautifully explained. And I'm so grateful that you started this community and, this mission. And so as a mother, what does the Million Mom movement provide for you?
Um, I mean, it provides community, obviously, that safe space that we talked about, and it provides knowledge and education, because we can't all be experts in everything, right? Um, and so I've learned so much from the council members over the years in things that you guys were more educated about than myself. And so I love it that we're pulling in expertise from different areas and we're sharing it together, because we're all here to have a healthier lifestyle. We're all here to up-level our well-being. We're all here to be the best role models that we can for our children. And so that is what I have been able to get. I've been able to get knowledge. I've been able to get validation. I've been able to get support as we go through this journey in life. And whether you are a mother or you're a caregiver. So you don't have to be a mother to be like a physical mother that's given birth. You don't have to be a physical mother that's given birth to be part of the Million Mom Movement. Everyone is welcome here, because if you care about people, in my opinion, you are a mom. You have mom qualities. You're mothering when you care about people. And I feel that everybody here, whether you're a man, a woman, you've birthed a child, you care for a child, we all are children. And then as our parents age, we all begin to take care of them. So if you have a heart to care for others, you are part of the Million Mom movement. And so that is what I get, just that spirit of being around like-minded people that have a heart to care for others and have an open mind to intake knowledge and then apply it to their own lives.
Absolutely. We get to have such an incredible community. Thank you so much. So, what are some of the personal experiences that you've had with Purium? Would you mind sharing some of those with us?
Oh my goodness, there's so many on so many levels, but I think um, I'll be brief with my origin story, how this all started, because many of you have heard it before. But there's many new people. I saw someone who just wrote, "I've only been with Purium for 10 days," so I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for leaning in and being here. So I got started in this so long ago when I was 19 years old, and I had a horrible case of acne, and I'd had that for several years. It really colored, it shaded, it changed my whole teenage experience. And I was smart, I was talented, I was a good dancer. I had all these opportunities going for me. And because of the acne on my face had affected my self-esteem, it had affected how I felt about myself. Instead of kind of reaching out and grabbing all these opportunities that were being presented to me, going off to college and dance teams and things like that, I just started slamming the door on all of these opportunities and kind of found myself in a downward spiral as a late teenager and a young person entering in, to their young 20s. And so I dropped out of a lot of activities. I didn't go off to college and things like that. I just stayed safe and I stayed living at home with my parents. And so my parents were kind of like confused what was going on, but they're like, you got to you're going to get a job. If you're going to live here, you're going to get a job. And that was like the best thing that ever happened to me because I went to work at a health food store. And for the very first time in my life, someone talked to me about nutrition because nutrition was nothing that was ever discussed in my household. Like Grace said it when she was saying hello, like it just wasn't something that got talked about in households, I think, at least not in my household, in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up. And food was all about celebrations. Food was all about indulgences. My mom is an amazing cook and a wonderful baker. And I grew up on a diet of meat and cheese and sugar. So no wonder, and Dr. Pepper, because I'm from Texas. And, and so
Could I
that,
just say one thing?
sure.
That if there was a gingerbread house, her mother built it. Her mother could have literally opened a chocolate confectionery store and made everything herself. I've never seen anybody who makes better desserts than her mom. So just that's some perspective.
Dave calls it like when Dave visited before and his daughter
Texas breakfast,
Texas breakfast. Texas
chocolate
breakfast
cake.
was cake, and that was normal. And the bedtime snack at my grandmother's house was a root beer float with bluebell ice cream. So like that's just the way I grew up. But because of that, I truly feel that my gut was ravaged with all of these processed foods. Also, being exposed to glyphosate, which is a whole nother story, growing up in a rural area with my uncle on a cotton farm, spraying glyphosate every year to defoliate that cotton. Also, my parents using glyphosate in our home or on our yard to create the flower beds. My mom also loved gardening. And so Roundup was a chemical that was in our garage and was used regularly in and around our lawn. And so those things combined, I end up, and also on tons of antibiotics for ear infections and things like that. I end up with a ravaged gut, severely constipated. It's still hard to talk about, but it's like we have to talk about stuff like that. And nobody talked about that no one ever asked me about my elimination when I was a teenager and I was suffering with this acne. And so fast forward, I'm working at this health food store. I go to this convention and I'm standing there feeling kind of awkward because I'm wearing so much makeup to try to cover the acne. And this man happens to walk up to me and he happens to call out, he happens to notice the acne on my face that I'm trying to cover. And he's like, "Hey, I happen to notice you're having some issues with your skin. I think I have a solution that could really help you." Now, for those of you that know, you know that man is Dave Sandoval, and you know what he did is something that we call carefrontation. And in what he did, he changed my life forever. Like he made me feel uncomfortable, want to cry, want to crawl under the table, wondering why I got on that airplane and went to that convention for just a moment. Like that was all going through my head for just a moment. But then because I leaned in and I listened to what he had to say, because he said it with care and compassion and without judgment, like he didn't say like, "Ah, I can't believe you had a Twinkie and Dr. Pepper for breakfast. That's horrible. That's why you have all that acne." That's not what he said. He said, "I think I can help you." And he said, "I have this green juice." And and he's like, "You probably aren't going to like the way it tastes, but I bet you if you drink it 2 to 3 times a day, you would see an improvement with your skin." He said, "I bet you that if you drank it for a week, that you would even begin to like the way it tastes." And so it's kind of funny because all these things started to come true. I took a first sip of this juice. I wanted to spit it out. It was horrible. Has that ever happened to you? Like you take a drink of wheatgrass when you first got into this lifestyle, and you're like, "What am I doing?" And so I'm like, "Okay, he was right. He was honest about that." And then a few days later, after I was drinking it, the pH and things, my taste buds began to change, and so it wasn't that bad. He also said, "In a couple weeks, you're really going to start craving this." And I was like, "Oh, no way." Like, okay, it may not be that bad anymore, but I am never going to crave this. Well, in a couple of weeks, I was wanting it. The inflammation begins to subside, the acne begins to dissipate, the redness is going down. And then pretty soon, like you're eliminating, like, what's going on over here, I go to Mexico and think, did I get Montezuma's revenge? What is happening? Like, I have never eliminated this much in my life, but I was cleansing, I was detoxifying. And at the end of that process, I ended up with like glowing, vibrant skin. But what I didn't even know at the time is that my insides, my gut was being supported. My gut was healing. I cleansed, I detoxified, I shifted my pH. I had let go of, drinking Dr. Peppers 3 or 4 times a day because they just didn't taste that good to me. My taste buds were opening up and I was exploring different things instead of just meat and cheese and sugar. And all of those things combined, my health just up leveled tremendously. But not only just my physical health. So not only did my skin get better, but the thing that was so profound is, remember I told you I was in that downward spiral, like no self-esteem, wasn't really sure what I was going to do with my life. Well, everything shifted, and I know why now, because the gut is so connected to the brain, but I didn't have any clue back then. That those things were so interconnected, but I knew that I felt better. And I knew that being this kind of depressed teenager, moving to seeing all these possibilities of life and grabbing a hold of opportunities and knowing that this has been such a profound change for me, that I had a heart to help other people. And I wanted to be a teacher in school. to teach teenagers because I wanted to help depressed teenagers. That's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to help depressed teenagers because I was one, you know, and but I realized I could do it a different way. I could do it by educating how Dave had educated me, by providing, helping to provide something that's easy and convenient. If someone lives in a food desert or someone lives in a junk food oasis, like, I mean, I have to say, my home was a junk food oasis. And I mean, I'm embarrassed to say that, but that's what it was. And so, but could provide, I could be part of something that's providing something that's nourishing, that someone can do on a daily, consistent basis, and go from in this downward spiral to feeling unstoppable. And that's the way I felt. And I decided to leave Texas. I decided to move out to California to lock arms with Dave Sandoval and to get this message out to the people that needed it, because my parents were great parents. My parents love me. My parents spent a lot of money taking me to doctors. But by them taking me to doctors, but the doctor's not ever asking any questions. Do you drink any water? Do you eat any vegetables? Do you ever go to the bathroom? You know, by no one ever asking me any of those questions, and then just throwing antibiotics at me for years and throwing Accutane and creams and things like that at me. And never solved the root issue. For the first time, what Dave had offered and taught me was beginning to solve the root issue. And I was so lit on fire by that. I was so passionate about that, that I kind of like said goodbye to everything that I knew, everything that was familiar, and went from this teeny town in Texas, literally one stoplight town in Texas, to Long Beach, California. If anybody's been to Long Beach, it's a 500,000 people. It's a huge city within a city of like millions of people. And, you know, that kind of rocked my world too, but I was willing to do it because it was so important to me to be a part of sharing this message to people that needed to hear it. And so that's what Dave and I have been doing for 30 years together, is getting this message out to people that needed to hear it. So that's my health side. That's the passion side. I'm going to take just a couple more minutes and just talk about, so my self-esteem, I was on fire. I was on fire wanting to share. But what I thought my value was helping Dave manufacture, helping Dave run the business, helping be like all that behind the scenes stuff, because Dave is such an amazing speaker and he was so passionate. So if I could do the behind the scenes stuff, it would free him up to go spread the message. So I did that, and that was my role for years and years. And then one day, and it was kind of around the time, like after I had had the kids, and I realized, like, hey, I think there's other moms out there. I think there's other women out there that might be afraid to start using their voice. And I was still a woman at times that was afraid to use her voice, even though I had so much passion and I was running this big business. There still was parts and times where I was afraid to use my voice. And I made a conscious effort because I had these two daughters, and I didn't want my daughters to ever be in a position where they were afraid to use their voice and where they were afraid to advocate for themselves. And so it was at that time that I decided I needed to push myself to start speaking. I also needed to support Dave in a different way because he was one person. And why was it fair that he had to carry the entire message? I'm like, I'm a woman, I have two kids, I can be relatable to people. My story matters. And that switch, when I flipped that switch in my head and I started forcing myself to go out and public speak, and I sucked, by the way, I was not good at all. And I was so nervous and it was so scary. But I forced myself to do it, to be a role model for my girls. And as I've done it over the years, I've gotten so much better at it to the point that it's become fun and I love it. It's become, even if I make a mistake, if I stutter, if I say the same things 3 times while I'm gathering my thoughts, I'm like, I don't care because I'm being me. I don't have to be perfect. I am being me and I am modeling not only to my daughters, but I am modeling to this incredible community that you don't have to be perfect to be seen, that we can be seen exactly as we are as our imperfect selves, and that there's people out there that relate to our stories, that need to hear our stories, love our stories, and love us. And so in this journey of coming out and speaking, it's been a journey in like worthiness, you know, because it started out that maybe I'm not worthy to tell my own story. Nobody cares about my story. But as I've pushed myself and the love and support that I've received, it's been, so I'm going to call this, it's been a journey in physical well-being, but it's also been a journey in emotional and mental well-being and health. And it's been a journey in worthiness to like find the love for myself and to find the worthiness in myself. And so if I can model that for anyone here, it is worth every single minute of time that I have put into this. So I want to thank Dave for, allowing, like, offering this opportunity to me so many years ago, for being my friend and supporter through all of these years and all of these ups and all of these downs. And, for allowing me the space to like find myself and find my worthiness. And I invite you to use this space here to do the very same thing if you are someone that has struggled or is struggling with any of those issues.
Amazing, Amy. Thank you so much for sharing your story about carefrontation and how important it is, because we're inundated today with so many things in our world. And like you said, we don't know what we don't know. And so as we learn, it is so important that we go out and share what we've learned with other people, especially young moms and people that are just starting out. Because like you said, the first one was so much harder. We didn't know what we were doing. And I also just wanted to mention, it's been such an honor to watch you over the years, and you're such an inspiration. And thank you for just being vulnerable and sharing your heart with us. I remember, I think it was in 2016 when you came out to Hawaii and did the convention on your own. And it was so incredible to see you, really representing the Million Mom movement and Purium and the community, and just really sharing your voice. And I remember how nervous you were, but it was also that profound, growing edge of just being a fearless leader. And so I just want to thank you so much for being that person and inspiring so many of us to be fearless leaders as well. So I would also, Purium's not just an opportunity to create healthy bodies, it's also an opportunity to create healthier households and financial freedom. So would you mind telling us a little bit about why this is so important to you?
Oh my gosh, financial freedom is, our finances can be the biggest stressor in our lives. I think finances are one of the biggest reasons that partner couples break up. Families get broken apart over finances. There's so much stress that is created over finances or lack of finances. And so in fact, there's women who can't leave abuse or feel like they can't leave abusive relationships because of finances. And so it's so important to me to give an equal opportunity. Dave calls it meritorious. I love that word because it means like it's how hard you work. It's not what degree you have. It's not like where you came from or whatever. It's how hard you work. And that's why I love this. And it network marketing, which Purium is part of the network marketing business model. We love it. We embrace it. Network marketing has made the most female millionaires of any industry. It is possible. We do have Purium millionaires out there in the community. Now, not everyone wants to be a millionaire, needs to be a millionaire. I mean, the true fact of the matter is that $500 a month can make a dramatic difference in almost everybody's household. That's true. That is a fact that $500 a month can make a dramatic difference. Now, with Purium, I won't say it's easy. We don't say it's easy because it's not net magic marketing, it's network marketing, but it is very possible, very plausible. You can look at our income disclosure and you can see, you can work with your upline sponsor to get yourself to making $500 a month. And it doesn't have to go, it doesn't have to start this fast. You can start out getting your products paid for as your goal, and then you can maybe move into getting your products paid for plus a little bit of extra spending money. So when you're at the market, you are not forced to make those decisions: organic strawberries, non-organic strawberries, organic bread, non-organic bread, because the fact of the matter is it costs more to eat organic. And those are the first two goals for me of anyone entering into Purium: get your products paid for and get enough spending money that you don't have to think twice when you are at the market about buying the more expensive quality option for yourself and your family. Those are always my first two goals. After that happens, you can move into getting your car payment paid for, getting your housing payment paid for, full-time income, and we have several members of the community that have retired their spouses. They're literally making multiple full-time income, and they get to spend their time with their best friends. And so I have seen that happen. So I am very passionate about it because stress can wreak havoc on our health, our physical health. Stress can wreak havoc on our mental health. And literally, for most people living in North America, $300 to $500 can make a significant difference. And all of our upline leaders here, all of our sponsors, they can show you a pathway to consistently earning $500 a month. That is so doable, so plausible. And that number can grow exponentially with the effort and the time and the energy that you put into it. So Dave and I are so deeply committed to this business model. We're so deeply committed to financial freedom, which also brings about time freedom, location freedom, people freedom. You can work with who you want, you can work where you want, and you can work when you want. And that is something that I think is truly, truly incredible in what we offer here at Purium and at the Million Mom Movement.
Absolutely. Yeah. I am so grateful that that you both created this as a network marketing company, because it has enabled me to be a stay-at-home mom for over 10 years now. And I never had to go back to work after maternity leave. I was able to replace my part-time income in under 2 months and just told my boss that I was never coming back to work. And I'm so grateful for that. So thank you so much. And so my last question for you, I would love to know, could you tell us, how have you felt supported by your business partner, co-founder, and visionary, Dave Sandoval, who is obviously not a mom or a woman, but he's an incredible human. So I'd love to know how you felt supported by him through this mission.
Oh, I love that. I mean, it's the vision, it's the passion. It's always coming from the purity of heart that like what we're doing is to help people. And it you know, Dave has modeled that. I've been around Dave for 30 years now. Dave has been modeling that for 30 years, that everything we do is to make the world a better place. And so, I mean, that's been incredibly impactful for me as a person. And you know, offering me these opportunities, you know, offering me the opportunity to run a business, you know, offering me, and then, okay, let me back up. I think, and this is something that every brand partner can do. So I really want to say this, and I really want to, like, if you really get down to like, what has Dave done for me? How has Dave supported me? Dave saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And I don't know if you've ever got anyone, if you have anyone on your team, or you've had an upline that has seen a spark in you, and when you were feeling pretty darn dull, and was able to help you kind of like polish and shine it up so you could feel that as well. And I would say that is the number one thing that Dave has done for me and has continued to do for me, is like believing in me and seeing what was possible, and pushing me, encouraging me, and pushing me to go after things that I may not have thought were possible. And so, yeah, meeting Dave that day at the convention in Austin, Texas, changed my life. That changed the entire course of my life. None of us would be here if we had it, you know, together conversating, if that hadn't happened. So I want to thank Dave for having the courage to have that confrontation with me. And yeah, it's been a wonderful 30 years, changing the world together. So thank you, Dave. And I think that we can take that lesson and we can model it and we can pay that forward. Every single brand partner here at Purium, every member of the Million Mom movement can be a Dave Sandoval in someone else's life. So I want to encourage you all to really think about that, take that to heart, and to continue to pay that forward.
Amazing. Yes, it's definitely a huge mission, and we're all on this mission together. And so, thank you so much, Amy, for sharing your wisdom with us today. And I want to go ahead and bring Dave on and ask him a few questions as well. Um, so, Dave, as a man, where is your place within the Million Mom movement? Please tell us.
Well, right behind you all, of course. That's, but, first of all, I don't like this camera angle, and I've got a few notes I want to look at. So I'll be right back. All right, here we go. So, yeah, my place in the Million Mom movement is really as a son, as a brother, as a father. Every man has, a mother at the very least. You don't always have aunts. You don't always have sisters. You may not always have a daughter. Me, I had a lot of women in my life who are really important to me. And, the truth of the matter is that my mother, I don't tell her story. I tell my aunt's story all the time about, the woman who took me off the streets, the woman who gave me a chance, the woman who showed me love that a mother is supposed to. But why wasn't my mother in a position to show me that love? Why was my mother stuck in an abusive relationship? Why was my mother caught in alcoholism and all of these other things? Well, it was because of finances, almost entirely. The strain, the pressure. My mom used to juggle bills like it was like she was a magician, holding off the power companies. They wouldn't turn off our electricity so she could have enough money to go to the grocery store, you know? So I don't talk about my mom that much. It's pretty painful. She had a tough life and she's still with us, 80 something, 88, and still kicking. But the bottom line is that my place in the Million Mom movement is as a son who saw his mother suffer, as a nephew who saw my auntie suffer, as a brother who sees my sisters suffer, as a cousin who sees all the women in my family, subjugated, quite honestly. And I wanted to see them be free.
Thank you so much for that, Dave. And so being a father of 3 daughters, what does this mean to you?
It means they live a life without limitations.
Absolutely.
It means they live a life knowing that they can be anything, that they have role models like you, like Amy, women who stand up and have stood up to and for things that other people haven't had the strength to stand up to and for.
Mhm.
And so, that's my place.
And Dave, you've worked with a lot of successful women from supermodels and entrepreneurs. What are some of the lessons that you would like to leave with young women and mothers that are here today?
Yeah, I don't talk that much about that because I'm not like the man who came to save women. It's not like that at all. I'm the man who came to tell you that, you're absolutely capable of saving yourself, and here might be a way to do it. So I love the fact that we give women a voice. We give women empowerment. Empowerment has almost always come from economic means throughout history. The type of freedom that we're able to give women to spend time with their children, to be the mothers that they want to and need to be. The fact that if they want to, they can move to the country, they could move to the city if that's their desire. They could live where they want to live, and they could work when they want to live, but when they want to work. But what a lot of people don't know is that I once was asked to and was part of a film project where I lived with 17 international beauty queens, not because they were beautiful, but because they're the most likely to be subjugated, sexualized, and quite honestly, you know, uh, subjugated, like I said, objectified. And so we made a film about how they could try to make it in Hollywood and avoid those things. And it failed miserably because you can't, unfortunately, in this world. And it made me even more motivated, to show women that that is not the pathway to financial freedom, is by, buying into this system, this matrix, this, this way that they've been taught. And I wanted to know there's a better way for my daughters. There's a better way for my daughters. You're not going to be objectified, subjugated, or sexualized in order to make a living in this world. You're going to go by your strength, your intelligence, and that's how you're going to be judged, meritoriously, not because of your orientation.
Thank you so much for that. And so, is there any last words that Amy or Dave that you'd like to say before we start to close out the
I have a
call?
lot of notes I want to share. So let me just get down them real quick, okay? So, do you know what the paycheck matrix is? The paycheck matrix is when you're woken up by an alarm and you rush to make lunches for your kids and for yourself, and you jump in a car and you fight traffic to get to a desk or a job that you go to, where you help somebody else make money for 4 hours, and they limit the amount that you're going to make for 4 hours. They limit it to your salary or your hourly wage. And then you get a half an hour to recover before you go back for another 4 hours making somebody else money. And then you drive home again. And by the time this is all done, you've gotten 10 hours are gone from your day, and you've got a few hours left to do the things that are important to you, like be with your children and take care of your household chores, etc., not to mention self-care or recreation. So then you continue this matrix where somebody else tells you what you're worth, where somebody else tells you when you could have a vacation, and you have to live close to your job or else you're going to make it worse in that traffic. So we free you from that with time freedom, location freedom, and unlimited income opportunity. Or as Amy said, just making what you need and being happy with it. So this generational healing, what are moms? Well, what does generational healing mean? Why are we here? That's why I'm here. So did you know that men are sort of one and done, that our sperm is one generational? But did you know that women, when you give birth to another girl, to another woman, that she's carrying the eggs of her children when she's born? And so, who has a better chance at generational healing than the person who will nurture a baby through their breast and is actually has twins in your woman child's, ovum already is there? That's an amazing miracle that people just may not understand. That's why moms are so important, because your eggs are part of the multi generational healing. And so when we have this epigenetics that we talk about, the ability to actually change genetics, we're not talking about just of your child, we're talking about of your grandchildren. The food that you eat will change the genetics of your grandchildren. That's how important moms are. And I want you to know how powerful you are in your ability to change the world. So if you're a mom, the Million Mom Movement teaches you to make food fun. They turn going to the grocery store into a treasure hunt, where you try to avoid all of the it's like a video game. Try to avoid all the stuff that's going to hurt you and just get to the stuff that is good and right. It's like my daughter plays this thing, the floor is lava. And when we go to the grocery store, like, the food is lava. We've got to find the good food and we make it fun. And so before Amy gets the final word, because she always does, I've just got, to say that 95% of the people in line for that doctor don't belong there. They need to practice self-care, because 95% of the ways that people are suffering have nothing to do with needing a medication, needing a surgery. They don't. They have to do with repairing your gut, with nourishing your cells, with properly hydrating your body, getting proper sleep, and getting rid of that stress that Amy so eloquently spoke about. And so who is Purium? Well, Purium is a little bit like my favorite prophet, Noah. Noah's Ark was a place, everybody laughed at Noah, everybody laughed at Amy and I when we went to trade shows, and we sat there in our Birkenstocks trying to get them to drink green juice. Everybody laughed at us, but we didn't care. We were building an ark, and we kept finding the most precious foods in the world. We were like archaeologists, food archaeologists, going and finding the most precious foods in the world. And just like Noah, we brought them onto this boat that we call Purium. We brought them here to this safe space that we spoke about, where if you have made a decision that what you eat, what you put into your body, the way you nourish your cells is important to you, then we are going to be your greatest resource that you could ever hope for, because we are our own resource, the one that we hoped and prayed for. We became it. Mm-hmm. And if you could become what you're praying for, then you could become that to others. Just like we said, everybody could become that person who inspires thousands. And so we have this 90-day way, and the 90-day way is simple. It's a promise, a scientifically proven promise, that if you could change your way for 90 days, that you could permanently impact your life and the genetics of you, your children, your grandchildren. It's true. And so let's embrace it. Let's take the time. And yes, it takes a week or so to like the taste. Yes, it takes a month or so to see the most dramatic results. But after 90 days, you won't even recognize yourself. And science proves that if you make that 90-day commitment, that you'll never turn back. So Amy, Naiva, I want to turn it back to you, but thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. And like you said, where is my position with the Million Mom Movement? Right behind you, supporting you, encouraging you, and putting you first.
Well, thank you, Dave. That was amazing. And it's been so fun to drop on and share some stories and share some tears. And, I think sometimes that is necessary, and this is a safe space to be able to do that. So, my theme, it's be bold, do bold things, do things that seem a little bit scary, because those things can turn into, incredible things. Like me moving from Texas to California, it was a lot scary and it's been incredible. You know, just being able to use that tool of carefrontation, confronting someone with care and compassion, and just remembering you might make them uncomfortable for just a few moments, and you can change their life forever. And just knowing how impactful that can be, I hope that gives you the courage when you're feeling a little bit scared, because I feel scared all the time in some of the things I'm tasked to do. Even at my age, even at my experience level here in business and in life, I'm 50 years old. I've had a lot of life experience now. I still get scared all the time. And I just am like, okay, check yourself. You're equipped, you're knowledgeable, you have a support network here. Just go ahead and be bold and do it. And so I encourage all of you to do that. And thank you for being part of this incredible community. We are here because of you. Dave and I are just two people with big hearts and big dreams. And you know, we happen to have a manufacturing facility where we can make this incredible food that changes lives. But if it wasn't for you, and if it wasn't for this community getting out and sharing this message, paying this message forward, we wouldn't be here. So thank you for all that you do. And I just encourage you to be bold and be empowered and go out there and change, keep changing more lives. So you,
Amy, would you take a couple of questions? There's people who want to thank you or
oh,
say something to you. I believe I've been reading the chat. So,
oh,
Naiva,
okay,
would you
good.
let Amy take a couple of questions?
Sure, if you'd like, we can take a couple questions. We're almost at the top of the hour.
Okay, we got time for 2 or 3. Raise your hand, and Amy will keep the answers short, I'm sure. But I didn't want to miss the Q&A, so maybe a couple of 3.
Amazing. Looks like Michelle has a question.
Yes, I just want to say thank you, Dave and Amy, because I started this business because it changed my life, and so many people with my 4 children on the spectrum saw the difference. But you know, I was doing the math, and what I have earned so far with Purium has been the equal to 1 year of being a flight attendant. And if I think about it, what everything I've earned, I haven't had to pay for any of it. My superfoods. And my husband said at the very beginning, he says, if I have to get another job so we don't stop eating these superfoods, I will do it. I've been able to keep him home because we're building a house. We're building a log house in 16 acres. It's been a lot of roadblocks. But he says, if he hadn't been for Purium, Michelle, I don't think I could have built you your house because I was starting to get arthritis. And because he's on the spectrum, he was very crippled by anxiety. So I've been able to continue building our house. My children are thriving. One of my sons I know will have a normal life. 100%. The other 3 are on the spectrum, but one of them is so affected that I thought he was going to live with us all his life. And I know he won't have to. So thank you for this business model. I can actually make a living while I'm sitting on a jump seat, talking to hundreds of flight attendants. I love my job. I don't want to quit. But I can see a path where I can work half the time and impact all the different flight attendants and pilots. And it's because the training, the product, and the community you have. So
And
thank
we
you
have
so
a
much.
special program for flight attendants and pilots, so reach out to me later.
Oh, good. Okay, thanks, Dave.
Oh, that's awesome.
You,
I got
such
like
a
the
beautiful
goosebumps.
story. You literally brought me to tears.
I know. I
Um,
got the chills hearing you talk about that. So thank you, Michelle.
who else had their hand up?
Any other questions or short stories? I think that was it. But that
That's
was
a tough one to follow. I don't know if I'd want to follow that, but you know, I just want to say that flight attendants and pilots are exposed to as much radiation on every flight of 2,000 miles as having 20 X-rays every flight. And we have photoprotective products like super xanthan, like chlorella, like spirulina, that are all, not all of them, but most of them are in the green drink. And then you add super xanthan to that, and it makes a huge difference. So definitely inform the pilots about that, the fact that they're exposed to radiation, that our products are very good at protecting against it. They're so good at protecting against radiation that if you're going in for radiation therapy, you can't take our products for a week before you take your radiation, because it'll stop the radiation from getting to your cells. That's how strong our product is. So again, thank you all. Amy, you were just mind-blowingly awesome. Naeva, you're a great interviewer. Thanks for your 7 years of dedication to this cause. To all of our council members. Our council members are amazing women. They're amazing leaders. They're amazing people and human beings, and so blessed to be a part of this community. And while I may not be a mom, I've been called a real mother many times. And I'm not sure if that qualifies me.
We do have one other hand raised. Should I allow one more question?
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. Well, we have Haley Porter here. Hi, Haley.
Hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Awesome. I have a question and then a comment. My question was, does anybody mind writing in the chats, or if Dave wants to share again those products? I believe it was super xanthan, chlorella, and spirulina that are the most helpful. I mean, all of them, but are those the most helpful?
All greens, but super xanthan and chlorella. Spirulina, remember, has the blue part of it, right? The part that makes it blue, that's really photoprotective as well. And that's why our super xanthan actually improves your eyesight. You know what I mean? It actually repairs, which is incredible, clinically proven. So yeah, that's all good to know for you x-ray technicians, for you flight attendants, for people who work in mines where radon, don't forget radon's radiation, so people who work in really closed buildings, you're exposed to a lot of radiation as well. So no, I don't like to have scare. It's not about scaring. I promise you, it's about educating. It's not scarefrontation. It's carefrontation.
Grace is asking, do they have similar effect with EMFs? Or is that different?
We don't have scientific proof of that. But here's what I could tell you. Our new product is actually added to paint. And when you add it to paint, it actually is proven. So you paint the rooms that you paint your servers in. You have your server room. Those rooms are painted with paint with our product added into the paint, because it stops the radiation from passing through the walls and affecting the people in the office.
Yeah.
Is that awesome or what?
Amazing. Thank you so much. Amy, did you have anything else that you wanted to share before we just wrap it up?
Well, I thought Haley had a question and then a comment. So I was just gonna see if Haley wanted
Sorry,
to.
Haley, we forgot about you. It got caught up in my commentary.
No, I could listen to you guys talk all day long. I just wanted to say I've been with Purium for 10 years now, right? Just short of how long Naeva has been in. And this was the most beautiful call ever. I want to tattoo the whole call onto my whole body. We need to share this recording with everybody. I literally cried 9 times. Dave, Amy, Naeva, thank you so much. And I say this every time, and I truly mean it. I fall more and more in love with Purium every single day. Like my colon is so in love with you. My heart is so in love with you. And just this mission that we have is unshakable, of ending human suffering and helping the earth and helping the people. And the quality of these products are just phenomenal for those of us that are health nerds. We've been health nerds for so long, and those of us that are new to that path. And I just love Purium with my whole heart and soul. If there's anything I can ever do beyond being a loving brand partner for you, Dave and Amy, you just reach out anytime. Naeva, anytime. Like I just love you all so much. And if you guys haven't yet tried Can't Beat This with Biofruit, oh my gosh, it is my new favorite. It is
Right? Oh my God. And people forget that Biofruit has a clinically proven ingredient that keeps your entire urinary tract healthy. It isn't just, oh, here's a fruit drink. No, this is a bad, you know what, bad colon product.
I love it so much. I can't wait for convention. I can't wait for Diamond Club. Love you all so much.
Love you. Well, thank you so much for inviting me on today. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Nave. It's wonderful to see everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Amy.
Thank you.
Everybody share this call, please, if you care. I'm going to do the same.
Absolutely. So as you all know, the Million Mom Movement, we are 1,000 people in 100 communities committed to spreading health, well-being, and an economic opportunity around organic superfood nutrition with at least 10 families each. That's how we're going to build out to 1 million strong. And we need to reach more people faster. So it's time to go public, find new brand partners, find new customers that are ready for this transformative journey, and ask yourself, are you one of the 10 families that, or 10 people that someone else discovered and shared this with? Let's ripple that forward. So let's go ahead and reach out to the people that we love. If this is your first time here on this call, welcome to our community. We're so happy to have you here. Reach back out to the person that invited you because they are so excited to partner with you and share this mission with you. And so thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one time to give you all of the resources where you can become a part of our community. And so we would love to invite you to like, follow, and share. So please like our Facebook page, join our Facebook community at Million Mom Movement Official. It's a Facebook group where this replay will be posted along with additional links. And you can also follow us on Instagram. You can tag us on your posts and stories there so you can be featured in our stories or on our social media channels. And then last but not least, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel where this replay will be up shortly. And there's nearly 300 replays from past presentations. So please go and use those replays and share them with your community far and wide because there are so many resources there for you. And so again, thank you all so much for joining us here today. It's been such an amazing presentation. Thank you again, Dave and Amy. And thank you to our incredible community. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.